Welcome to She's
She's strong
Strong
and
and
sassy.
Sassy. And this is episode 3. Can you believe it? Wow, it just seemed like not so long ago when we actually dream up and vision this Strong and Sassy program. At a point, we didn't even know what it was going to be called, Carol.
Yeah, that's true.
And here we are already into episode 3. So, how was your week?
Wow, this week is going to be a short week. I've just been told earlier in the week that tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be a school holiday for my children. So there's a lot of things in a whole week's worth of activities I have to actually squeeze into 4 days. Well, it's quite amazing that we have to actually shift things around. But
Mm.
other than that, it has been a productive week for me. What about you, Joy? How has your week been?
Wow, it's been a breathless week, back to back, packing 2 weeks worth of work into 1 week. It's no small feat, but feeling good, feeling fruitful and productive, and looking forward to my break next week. So, one of the things that I'm wrapping up the week with is our episode. So, I'm happy and I can't wait to dive into your story.
Oh, thank you. I really looking forward to our sessions together because it's always a fun and always a joy, no pun intended, to be speaking with you.
Okay, so let's get started. So last week I was not last week, too, the last episode, I was the one who was being raw and authentic, going into my own intimate stories, revealing two very deeply kept story, and revealing it to the public. So that was quite an experience. But then, like for so many generations, we are known to sit together, learn together, sharing stories, inspiring one another. And some of us probably will also remember doing exactly that, sitting on our grandmother's or our mother's lap, listening to their stories and taking those stories to heart. So she's has always been uplifting one another with our shared narratives. And today we are going to do that with Carol being brave and showing up to share her story so that we can all lean into her stories and harvest her lessons for our own individual blossoming and for the blossoming of she's together. So why bounce back when you can bounce forward? And why
Mhm.
just be strong when you can be strong and sassy? So,
Mhm.
Carol, to me, is a beautiful example of a strong and sassy she. So, now let's dive into Carol's journey into strong and sassy. Are you ready, Carol?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, Carol, you've always been known for the work that you do, the confidence work that you do with women. So, what is your backstory? What brought you to this work that you do?
Hmm. Well, why I name myself as a confidence coach? In fact, the journey to discover that naming of that title has only been realized to me pretty much last year. Yeah, just maybe about slightly over a year and a half ago. I started out as an image coach. That was in year 2020, in 2012. Actually, in year 2012, I started out in year 2012 as an image coach. At that time, it was uh, an industry where everybody is calling themselves image consultant. I just didn't like the word consultant. It's kind of like I felt that
Mm,
I put myself ahead and above, the clients that I'm serving. And then, a coach is actually more appropriate because it's a coach is to serve as a guide, to serve as a supporter, an accountability partner of sorts, to
mm,
the clients that I'm serving. And the reason why I ended up becoming a coach is just because it all really ties back to not being confident growing up as a child. As a child, as you mentioned, all those in the last episode, all of us, we have listened to various stories being told to us by, our grandmothers, or the women who have been ahead of us, who have been there, your parents, your
mm,
moms, the aunts, and all those stories of their struggles. And being brought up in a very traditional environment, the narrative that I had based on the stories and the expectation that was given to me, how a girl or a female should behave, is in traditional sense, but I, as a child, this I can only comprehend what was given, and I took it as at face value. So my
Mm.
little mind that was in there conjure these various messages that I lived with growing up as a child. That your entire worth was really 100% determined by how well you marry, how who you marry, and also what, and the expectation also is that I have to keep opinions to myself and to
Mm.
speak only when I'm spoken to. So the idea that I had was that I'm nobody if I don't marry someone well. If I don't marry well, I'm also, if I were to speak my mind, I would be shut down. And as a child, of course, you try and do it. And I did. And a lot of the times, all these stern warnings, sometimes I get scolding as well for being too vocal. That's not ladylike. Don't do that. So
Mm.
eventually, my voice was being suppressed. And the confidence level, each and every time when I tried to voice my opinion, I was taken down. I was shut down. And eventually, I lost that part of me. I didn't have the confidence at all. And because of this lack of self-worth and self-confidence, and it really led me to seek external validation, from friends, So I became like a doormat. I tried to do everything for everybody, for the people, in order to win approval, to win love, and also that I gave myself unconditionally and hoping to actually get a verbal validation and say, you are great, that I'm actually worth something. And because of that, that I ended up being trapped in an emotionally abusive relationship, and which eventually led into 13 years of an emotionally abusive marriage itself.
Yeah, so I am also hearing very common narrative actually between both our growing up years, this fighting for validation to feel that we are worth something, and also um, suppressing our voice even though the situation is different, but it's still the same, like we did not speak up, we were not vocal. Life situation was such that we were told to not reveal how we feel, and not to speak our truth, because it was not being reciprocated, it was not being encouraged as well. So how did you go from that point to where you are today, choosing to do coaching for women?
Mm. Because after the end of this abusive marriage, I totally lost my sense of self, 100%. And it was through working with a coach that helped me to realize the root cause of my life choices. And it was 100%, it was very closely related to my own personal confidence issues. And because of that help that I received from the coach, it inspired me to want to pay it forward. And I also realized that there are many other women who are like me, who have gone through certain trauma, the whole thing about being wanting to get validation, wanting to be loved, and also trying to pick up the pieces after a horrific experience, a divorce. And also, to help women who are like me, that didn't feel that I'm worthy. And that's the way, that's the reason why I want to be able to say, hey, I've been through this process. I walked this whole journey, and I was able to heal myself, and I would like to be able to transform them the way I was transformed with the help of a coach. And also, what's most important is, after having going through the entire process of not hating myself, looking at myself in the mirror, maybe I just throw this question to the audience, how many times when you look at yourself in the mirror, you look at, oh, I've got a zit here, I've got a pimple here, oh, I've got new lines around my eyes. And most of the time we're criticizing ourselves. Have we actually one day just look at ourselves and say, hey, I love you? Point out our reflection and say, I love you. I never had that. A lot of the times when I look at myself growing up, thinking back, I'm always criticizing myself, like, why, how come my eyes look this way? Why
Mm.
can't they be bigger? Why are my teeth this way? Why can't they are whiter? Always criticizing, and I'm not loving myself enough. And even though having going through all this transformation, with the coach, and I had to go through this journey of really building my internal confidence, and to really to love the person staring at me back at the mirror, and that really sparked this passion, and sparked this, I would say, kind of a personal mission to help women to rebuild their confidence, to love the person that is staring back at her in the mirror. And that's the reason why I chose what I want to do as a coach
Mm.
today.
I think even with external support, and I'm so glad that you decide to seek that external support for yourself, building a resilient, having a life coach. But I guess the journey to developing that positive relationship with yourself, nurturing a relationship where you love yourself, having that self love is still at the end of the day a journey that we must embark
Mm,
ourselves. No life coach or counselor would be able to do that for you. I remember how after many dysfunctional relationship and then being back single again, then realizing that, oh, I keep doing that. They're pretty similar things that you're doing. Leaning into someone and hoping that they can complete me, and even though they might be doing things that is clearly like cheating ways, I still try so hard. I still blame myself for what's going on, even though it wasn't really my issue. And that's all come from a core sense of not having that self-love.
mm,
So I think this self-love piece is so crucial for women, and we really struggle with that because in one way or another, society has conditioned us to find it externally. But it is self-love. You can't find it externally. You have to go within. But it can be
mm,
so scary, isn't it, to go within? I remember after ending one relationship, and desperate to heal myself. And then I chance upon this weird concept called self compassion. I'm like, how do you even begin to do that? We've heard of compassion, but
mhm,
self compassion, like my brain was just a huge question mark. But I'm so glad I am back in like trying to find out more. I think that was a really first time when I had a real relationship with myself and really very intentional to build that nurturing relationship with myself, and that got me into coaching and positive psychology and so on. It was really that
mm,
that point, wanting to find out more about what exactly is this self compassion mean. So when we have confidence coach like you, we don't have to take that journey alone and figure it out. I remember being so bewildered. I have no idea who to ask because I don't know anyone who I can relate with self compassion. We're not taught when we were young. I don't relate like self compassion with my parents or my friends. Like, you don't even know where to go. So, but then you don't have to do this alone anymore because of confident coaches like you, Carol. So then the journey will not be so challenging. And hopefully, because of that, less women will give up or not even have the will to try.
Yeah, I really like the way you say that, because it's like, this whole realization didn't come through overnight. And I was very happy and very glad that I had that kind of support. I had an access to a coach. In the past, I didn't even know who I can go to for help. I mean, I started asking friends for advice, which what we normally do. Right? If you can't speak to our family, I started asking friends for advice. But their advice usually don't really help. And a lot of the times, they are also quite judgmental as well. They'll tell me things like, this is what you should be doing. But do they really take the time to understand? And this is the reason why I feel that there's a lot of women who have gone through a certain negative experience. They're unable to go through, and they keep going down a vicious cycle because they did not receive the kind of a sound guidance, even from well-meaning friends and loved ones. They are not equipped with the right skill sets to be able
Hmm.
to help them through. And for me, I have also gone through various failed relationships in order to get there, because I'm always wondering, like, why? Because I'm always trying to find this other person to complete me. Then I never realized until I worked with a coach that I am the one who has the power to complete myself.
Yes, and I think besides that, also women are taught to compete against one another, which is really sad. There's no competition. We're all so unique. But yeah, there is some, like you watch movies, there's always some kind of, they're always portraying women competing with one another.
Mm,
Why? Women has always done better when they are together as a
mm,
community.
yeah, true, true, true.
So, how do you see yourself now? Like, do you see yourself as strong, Carol? If you do, why?
Well, for me, I definitely see the word strong in a different traditional sense. I would say, to me, I always thought that being strong meant not being a weakling. It means that I have to be hard. I have to be
Mm,
emotionless. I cannot be seen as vulnerable. I have to be seen that I'm invincible. And having to put this facade up was really draining me as a woman because it doesn't gel with my persona as a female. I guess it's, there are other women who probably don't feel this way, but for me, it's like I've always been an introvert. I've always been pretty soft myself. And when people tell me that you have to be strong, you need to be really tough, and go out and hit back, because I don't want to hit back. I just want to heal and move on. So for me, being strong, it's having a certain degree of specific inner strength. It is the power to resist the kind of the force that is actually coming at you. And I also realized that being strong isn't about being hard. Being strong is about being able to just stand and be sturdy and steadfast in facing adversity. And that's how I have been dealing with all the negativities and all the adversities I have actually faced. I stood there and said, okay, you come, I take it, I resolve it, I cry my heart out, bow my eyes out, and then I got really angry. But I was able to let all of these emotions come through and eventually find the way to heal myself again. So if that is strong, then I guess that's what it is. But of course, it took me some time to realize that. And it's also when I found this quote online that I touched upon this quote online, and it's kind of like a reminder for me that I like to share today. Reminder, this quote that says, "Strong women wear the pain like they do stilettos. No matter how much it hurts, all you see is the beauty of it." And that resonates and it very much aligned to me as a female. I'm a woman. I like to dress up. I want to feel good about myself, dressing up, wearing that high heels to give me this additional height, feel like I can tower over others and take on the world. And that what it is for me to be strong. Strong is not an absence of um, fearlessness. Strong is just being fearless and then being courageous and being scared. I still do it at the same time. So if you were to ask me, I would say, yeah, I think I am strong in my own right.
Well, you're definitely strong, Carol. You took very definitive step to make yourself stronger so that you are able to walk out of a dysfunctional relationship. And look at where you are today. You're happily married, have very lively children that you keeps you very busy, and you're
Mhm.
also very busy empowering other women. And then now co-creating a strong and sassy program with me. So if that is not strong, then I don't know what strong is.
Thank you for that.
So now that we've talked about strong, naturally we need to now move on to sassy. So tell me about yourself, your journey into the sassy part.
Yeah, I remember when we were developing this program, we were talking about, like the word sassy. There's so much negative connotation that's attached with it. How the word came about, in the traditional sense. And for me, sassy. I read about this word sassy from a magazine, and that image stayed in my mind because I was going through the magazine, a fashion magazine, and it was an article about putting on makeup and then dressing well to look chic. And then the caption was chic and sassy. I'm like, what the hell is this word
Mm.
sassy? What does it mean? And as time goes by, and I realized that the word sassy is about it is a way to describe a woman. You know, it is a way to describe a characteristic. Sassy means lively. Sassy means bold. Sassy means full of spirit. And this is something that I strive to be more daily. I'm very much an introvert. Being lively, being bold, and being full of spirit, it's something very far off from my own personal characteristic made up. Okay, I'm only comfortable to joke around with people that I'm comfortable, that I know for a long time, that I feel safe with. So with you, it's like because you are a personification of your name, Joy. So with you, I feel a lot of joy. So you are able to bring this out, this lively, bold, and this spirit within me. But on my own, being an introvert, an extreme introvert, most of the time, I'm unable to do that. And I realized that I need to be able to do that because, this is how you connect with other people. When you are lively, when you are bold, that's actually where you're able to take that step towards, closer towards your goal, closer towards the destination. And I also realized throughout the journey, being sassy is about being in control. And I always like the word being a queen. Not in a beauty queen sense of a way, but it's like if your own universe, if we are our own world, we are definitely the queen of our universe and the queen of our own kingdom. And then for a mom, then I am the queen of my family. Right? My kids are my prince and my princess. So and I do have a king. But then the thing is like in my eyes, a king and a queen are both equals, are both equal. And being sassy is I have to feel good about myself and also be powerful. Powerful in my own right. Not
Mm.
powerful in the sense that I go out and shout about it and be and end up having shouting matches and then end up about putting men down. It's never about that because I think the current situation right now in the modern narrative about female empowerment and female power is about putting the other sex down. I'm not for that. I'm more for showing your power in a quiet sense. Probably is due to my own character, but for me, the queen is the most powerful piece in a game of chess because the queen is responsible to protect the king to be from being checkmate. So end of the day, the king really needs her for protection, just like what I'm doing right now. As for my family, that being a woman, we are the pillar of strength in the household, with kids or not. We are we are there. We have to actually really do a lot of multitasking. We do a lot of balancing ourselves within our life. We have to balance our work, balance our time with ourselves, with our children. The schedules. There's managing different kinds of schedule, and at the same time, still have to clean, still have to cook, and then still have to look good and then feel confident about it ourselves. So this is how a sassy and powerful queen is supposed to be doing, and we are made for this. The thing is that it is not a skills that we have to learn. It is something that we are born with it. It is our birthright. And I felt that along the way, a lot of us lost it. And for me, I definitely lost it along the way, from all the things that I had to witness and the things that are being told to me, being imbued into me growing up. And being able to have that help, to have support from other women to help me to realize that it really cut short the process. And I was
Mm.
able to be able to do this right now with you, to develop this strong and sassy methodology that we want to really present this to the women out there, who may need a helping hand.
Indeed. And I think being strong is great, and we are always advocating for women to be strong. But why
Mm,
stop at strong? Why not be strong and sassy? Everywhere born to be
exactly.
sassy. Our body is made a certain way. I mean that much is very clear, mother. Nature has plans for us. It's up to us whether we want to celebrate being a woman and celebrate the body of a woman, celebrate the strengths of a woman. So I think strong and sassy kind of go together, isn't it? I really love I have no idea how I came up with this name, but like it's been some weeks, but it still stick. In fact, like I quite like it every day. I like it a bit more. Just simple to the point, and exactly that's the objective we want to do together, empowering women. Not just be strong. Why just be strong? Be sassy too. But to able to do that in a supportive environment with women who has already walked the path so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel and you can reach your fullest potential
Mm.
earlier and in a conducive environment. So I am really happy to be doing this program with you, Carol, where we unleash all the queens out in the world. The most powerful piece in a game of chess, well, let's unleash them out into the real world.
Yeah, and also, because today we talk about, strong and sexy, but we wanted to name the whole show. She's strong and sexy. She's, SAD, she, and it means so much. It's not just a description of us as female. It's a description of our strengths, our sassiness, our inner character, and our birthright as women.
Yes, yes, and yes. So I look forward to us sharing more in time to come in our upcoming episodes, more about the program and what we're going to do with it. So in this second and third episode, we already shared a bit more about our backstory, how we came to the point where we are right now. Hoping that you can feel a sense of affinity and understand where our passion comes from. That we are genuine and we're really excited to invite you to come on this journey with us. Strong and sassy, let's have fun together. So let's do it together and let's explore the tools together. Like, don't do this alone. And women doesn't need to compete with one another. We can stand together.
Mhm.
So thank you, Carol, for sharing what is was a bit of a challenging past, and also being vulnerable and sharing like the challenges that you had with self-esteem, and also being very open about how you, in the beginning, use dysfunctional ways to fulfill that need to feel loved and accepted. I think that give us a better picture about where you come from and where your heart is coming from. So moving forward, let's activate this transformation that we have done for ourselves, for other women together.
Mhm. Yes.
So before we end this episode, we want to share about an exciting event for women, which is our upcoming Body, Mind, Spirit Festival for She's. And this is organized by She Network, ERM Marketing, Soul Wonder, and also Women Wellness Network. So this is going to be a fundraising project for a cause that's very close to women's heart, and we'll reveal
Mhm.
more details very soon. So this is a one weekend festival online summit where there's lots of workshops for you to nurture your body, mind, and spirit. So remember, don't do it alone. Join us, and also it is also for a fundraising cause. So
Yes.
stay tuned for more information. Carol and I will be two of the speakers for this summit, and we are giving you your first real glimpse of Strong and Sassy program in this festival. I'm excited about it, Carol.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Until the next episode, take care of yourself. Perhaps already venture your first step into strong and sassiness in your own way. And we look forward to chatting with you again. So we're ending again with our lotus pose. Let's all blossom together into beautiful lotuses, strong and sassy. Bye.
Bye.